a Saab 9.5 Aero, but with twice the fuel economy. Right, that's it. I'm not going to rag this car around and show you how fast it is. You're just going to have to trust me, because I'm going to put it in a bush. Good afternoon, viewers. This is my Ford Mondeo 2.2 TDCi ST, 224,000 miles. Service history like War and Peace, serviced just before it arrived with me, an MOT just before it arrived with me as well. So, what is a 224,000 mile Ford Mondeo ST like? Well, I tell you, if everybody wasn't out on the roads today trying to go to the tip and get their cars washed. I've just been to the tip and now I'm trying to get my car washed. I don't really know why I bought it. I just like these. I like these Mondeos. They just work. These Mondeos for me are the very last. They're the absolute tail end. This being a 2005 Mark III. They're the tail end of cars that you could buy and drive forever. The Mondeo is a bit more delicate than a Volvo, I'll give you that. But cars from the early 2000s, they do not make them like that anymore. You can no longer buy a car that will run forever. You know, look at this, 200,000 miles still going. My Volvo on the drive, 460,000 miles still going. My diesel TDI, don't even know how many miles, probably 200,000. So between the three cars that I own right now, they've covered more than 1 million miles. Now, for a normal human being who gets to 100,000 miles and says, right, that's it, the car's good for nothing, that's 10 cars. So I've got 3 cars that have done 1 million miles, and for a normal person, 1 million miles would be 10 brand new vehicles. That's 10 times the amount of whatever it costs in carbon and everything else to produce the vehicle. It's much more economical to keep an old car on the road. It's got oodles of torque, oodles of pull all the way through the rev range. It drives exactly like a diesel, so obviously first gear is virtually pointless. But overall, it's a very nice looking, very sensible, very cool car. Very cool. And a bit weird, didn't it? 18-inch wheels, and on the 18-inch wheels, it doesn't actually ride horrendously, which I'm surprised about, because they're very large. The alloy wheels absolutely, obviously need a refurb, because for some reason, I don't know what Ford did with their ST alloy wheels of this era. They all need a refurb by this point. The Focus I had was the same. Any Fiesta you might buy will be the same. So you need your wheels refurbed. But so does everybody who owns one of these, unless they've done it already. Outside, it's pretty straight. There's nothing obvious on it. There's one scratch on, I think, the driver's door. But other than that, there's nothing that is like over and above the normal usage for a car. And considering it's done 224,000 miles, that's impressive. I think people expect that when you tell them you've got a car that has huge mileage, I mean, that's how long it takes to get to the moon. I think it's 220,000 miles to the moon. So this one's been to the moon, and my Volvo's been to the moon and back. And people think, when you tell them that it's going to look like the cars at the end of the Africa Top Gear Challenge. But the thing is, in order for a car to have achieved that sort of mileage, by default, it has to have had careful owners. So, a car that has done 200 or 400,000 miles, I'd be willing to bet, in most cases, is in better condition than a lease car that has just reached the end of its 3rd year on its first ever lease. But you get what I mean? Like the whole reuse, recycle thing. If you're going to buy a car, it's a big investment. So look after it, and then you don't have to buy another one. It makes so much sense. So I was very glad to be able to help Matt save this car. I think it had reached the end of its life with its current owner, who'd finally had enough. It had a big MOT fail, which Matt has addressed. So it now has a fresh MOT. As I said, it's just had a service, and now it's ready to go for another 224,000 miles. Inside, it's just a car. And I think that's maybe why I haven't really driven this car all that much. It isn't really anything special. It's nice and simple. It's 2005, so it's before the days of overly complex electronics on cars. It's getting there, don't get me wrong. But I don't have a ridiculous interface. I don't have an overly designed dashboard. I don't have a big touch screen or anything like that. But what I do have is a torquey engine that's fun to drive and will do 50 miles to the gallon. Plenty big enough for the kids, huge boot, good looking car. Get the paintwork cleaned up a little bit, refurb the wheels, and it actually will start to look good at car shows, because these cars seem to have dropped like flies. So there we go, quick fire video on my Mondeo ST TDCi. Feels like a good car. It's got a little poppy out cup holder that's not quite on Saab levels, but it's definitely quite cool. Entertainment system is good, speakers are good, aircon works, cruise control, no heated seats, no sunroof, but I do have a little sunglasses hatch up here, which I really like. I wish all cars had a sunglasses hatch in the roof. Do you know how many pairs of sunglasses I lose? I jump in and out of different cars, I lose flat caps, sunglasses and phone mounts. Maybe this is the car for me. Or maybe it's the car for you. I think really, honestly, this is a car for everyone. Why would you not? 50 miles to the gallon, great looking car, kind of cool, a little bit retro, reliable. There you go, sold it to you. So ladies and gentlemen, I've made it to a car wash, and as you can see, there's a queue. There is a brand new Volkswagen. Can you see that there with the green badge on his number plate? I think you should only have a green badge on your number plate if your car has achieved 100,000 miles. It should be like a medal system, don't you think? I'm going to introduce some car stickers soon that are going to say things like 0 4-year-olds were involved in the making of the battery for this vehicle. Anyway, while we're in the queue, let's take a little look at the service history file, which is here. As you can see, it is comprehensive. It's going to take me at least 5 minutes to get my car washed, so you're just going to have to grin and bear it whilst I talk you through it. There is the V5, number of former keepers 2. What's this here? That is never the original. No, that's a new keeper document that's dated 2006. So the first owner owned it 1 year, December 05 to November, end of November 06, so 1 year. Then it goes to, I think that's Matt's mate. So I think Matt's mate owned this car from 1 year old to about 3 weeks ago. Oh look, there's a white Range Rover there as well. If you're going to drive a white Range Rover, right, you should have to clean it yourself. White is not a colour. Why do people order cars in white? Genuinely not a colour. It's for walls. White is for walls. There's another Geoff sticker. I'll tell you what though, I quite like that. Is it bad that I quite like that Hyundai? I mean, she can't drive, clearly. You can get a truck through there. But I quite like the look of those things. MOTs going back ages, absolutely ages. This is absolutely what you want to see when you buy a car. Look, when you buy a car, right, and the guy hands you the service history and you think, bloody hell, I'll go through that later. That's what you want. That's absolutely what you want. Look at this, it's just, there's so much here. This car has had so much work done. So much money has been lavished on this car. I can't think of a car I've had that's had a bigger service history file than this. And most of the work has been done at one place, which is actually a tyre place. And I think the tyre place did used to see the owner coming, but that works out bad for him because he spends a lot of money, but better for us because we get a better car. That was a big bill. That must be a big bill. £925. So it goes on and on and on. I may actually put this on a spreadsheet just because of the ludicrous sums involved. Another one here, 428, 273.
5 minutes later.
£82.
7 hours later.
Another 45.
3 days later.
354.
Several months later.
78. So one bloke owned this car, spent all that money and did 224,000 miles in it. That is the very definition of green motoring. Buy one car, love it, keep it, enjoy it. And then when you sell it to someone like me who's going to rescue it and keep it going. Do you know what? It's not actually safe or sensible for me to drive around and show you the acceleration on this car. Right, third gear. See, it's the torque, it's just the way it pulls. It's like a Saab 9.5 Aero, but with twice the fuel economy. Right, that's it. I'm not going to rag this car around and show you how fast it is. You're just going to have to trust me because I'm going to put it in a bush. They're ridiculously fast for what they are. It's just the acceleration low down in the rev range. Whereas with your Saabs and your Volvos, all your acceleration happens at the top end of the rev band. With this, it's right at the bottom. And that's torque for you, isn't it? So there we go. That's enough torque. I'm going to go home and edit this video. Oh, I love it. It's quite addictive.